Morning, Market Chameleons. Happy Friday. There he is. Dimitri, how you doing? Happy Friday, buddy.
Good morning. Happy Friday, Will. How are you?
It's right at 9 o'clock, so let's jump right under the disclaimer. There it is.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. Before we get started, keep in mind, Will and I, Market Chameleon, we're not registered investment advisors. We're not broker dealers. We're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need professional help, call your broker. That's what they're there for, to help answer your questions and provide you with guidance. With that, we can get started. So today, I think what we'll do is go over a pre-market scan. And this is based on just a question I happened to get today on email about a certain stock that didn't appear in a summary page, but was up in the pre-market hours. So maybe that's what I'll do, is kind of mention that stock within the pre-market scan example. So, we'll start with that. If you have any questions, Will, along the way, let me know. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. And we still have the ability for somebody to ask a question to come on and actually go live and ask a question, right? So if you want to just go live and not type in your question, you can go raise your hand and, just talk to us.
Correct. I'll put the link, the Zoom link. You have to, if everyone who's live right now is on YouTube chat. So anyone on YouTube chat, any of the active chameleons who want to come on and ask a live question about what's being discussed, just click on the link. It'll bring you over to Zoom. Just raise your hand. Let me know you're there and we'll bring you on live.
Okay. So Let me share my screen. And what we'll do is start with the general. So this is a pre-market report that is, pre-scanned. We have certain filters in place, certain conditions in place to meet, unless they meet those thresholds, it's not going to make it on the list. And the reason behind it is because in the pre-market hours, there's a lot of illiquidity. There are a lot of small price stocks, or even higher price stocks that may have a single trade that makes it look like, it's a big percentage move. But in reality, it's not trading there, not enough to really make a significance. So for example, if you have a dollar stock and one share trades at $1.20, that makes it look like it's up 20%. But in reality, the one share it's not really pushing that stock higher. It's not really there. Okay. So based on this illiquidity and small price stocks, or these outlier trades, we created certain conditions and thresholds where we're scanning to see if the stock is actually moving and trading there, to make this list. And I'm going to go through a screener, an example, but let's first just take a look at the summary list. So these are stocks that are trading in the pre-market hours. And here we have most active stocks, biggest percentage gainers, biggest percentage decliners. Really quickly, I'm looking at here, 190 stocks made our percentage gainers list, 32 made our percentage decliners list. If I'm going to go just to see what's going on in the higher market cap stocks to see if it mirrors this same situation. So I'm going market cap filter, $20 billion or higher. And here I see 63 made the percentage gainers list, 1 on the percentage decliners list. So from that perspective, so far, it looks like a bullish bias at the open that we're going to, as a whole in the market, we're going to be opening higher. Now, I'm going to leave this list really quickly. And here are different tabs up here. This is the summary, right? So this is kind of giving you a general summary of what's going on. But you may have a different criteria to filter something out. And that's what this screener is for, to allow you to have the ability to use filters and screen out what you're looking for. And I think the email that I got today was, there's a stock, RCON, up today in the pre-market hours. I think it was up like 9% at the time. Looks like, it didn't make our percentage gainers list. And there's a few reasons because it didn't hit our filters, but we could go and find it in here in the screener. So one of the things is that lower price stocks, right? Just the lower the price of the stock is, penny stock, dollar stock, the percentage moves can be very high just because it doesn't need to move that much in dollar terms, to make a big percentage gain, right? From $1 to $1.20, it could make a 20% gain, but in a particular stock like that, it could just be liquid and moving around that way. So that's why we have certain conditions in there. But here, when you go to the screener, there is a default here that the total volume in the stock in a pre-market has to be at least 500. You could do any, but at least 500 shares right now, which I don't even think that's that much, but that's the default filter you can put on any. And on the price, it's defaulted to $5 right now. I'm going to put it on any because we're trying to find this stock that we had a question about. And here, I'm going to go, before we use any filters here, let's just go over some of these data elements that you see. And remember, this is a scan for stocks trading in the pre-market hours. So all this, the volume and the price changes, these are in the pre-market hours. So we have here, first one, TBLT, it's $1.10. That's where it's trading. That's up 52.8% from yesterday's close. It's got over 17 million shares trading in the pre-market hours, so pretty active. If we compare it to yesterday's range, yesterday it traded as low as 70 cents, as high as 73 cents, so well above yesterday's high, breaching that. The VWAP, volume weighted average price, in the pre-market, $1.12. So we see it's backed off a little bit from that volume weighted average price, down 2%. Right now at $1.10, below the VWAP. This is the range it traded in a pre-market, as low as $1, as high as $1.31. So there we see right now it's kind of near the lower end of the pre-market range, but even this low is much higher than yesterday's high. How does this volume compare to where the usual volume is in a pre-market? So maybe in a pre-market, it does trade this way. So we have to kind of compare what it's been doing recently in a pre-market, And we could see that in the last days, on average, the stock does trade about 500,000 shares in a pre-market. So it's not zero. It looks like pretty active from day to day in a pre-market, but today's volumes of 17 million is 33 times that average daily pre-market volume. So a lot of volume in the pre-market in TBLT. Here we just see really quickly, it's a low market cap stock, 58.8 million market cap, shares outstanding, 81.6 million, float 81.4. So there's not a big float out there in TBLT. But if we compare, right now, 17 million shares trading versus a float of 81 million, that's pretty significant in percentage terms, right? So like a little over 20% of the volume in a pre-market, it's like 20% of the float trading in a pre-market. And here it just shows you any kind of headline news that we're picking up. You could go read the story. Why is it, why is it potentially going up? So you could click on it, read the story. Sometimes you get enough just from the headline. So looks like maybe something, that they reported that their sales, it looks like that they had pretty good sales on Amazon. So that's really quickly just showing you kind of the data elements in here. You have some more in here looking at, versus moving averages, 52-week high, 52-week low. But I'm going to just stick on the summary page here. And I'm going to come down to, let me see here. Oh, here's another one, AGRI, up 65%. That's 4 million shares trading hands. And you could see here that that's in the last 20 days, it hasn't even been trading in a pre-market hours. So that might be interesting because that would be unusual for that much volume in a pre-market hours. And you could see here at 765, that's way above yesterday's range. Although yesterday's range, $3.65, $4.90, that's a huge range, right? So pretty volatile, and we're way above yesterday's high. Today's VWAP, $8.48, that's down 10%. So 10% almost from the VWAP. So and you could see here today's range. This is very volatile. As low as $5.84 in the pre-market, as high as $13.43. So this stock is all over the place. I'm going to take another look at it just to see, out of this 4 million, how many of these are big blocks? All right, so let's take a look at that first and see. Up here, I'm going to go to the block trade screener. This is block trades in a pre-market, and we're going to look up AGRI. So these are trades that either have 10,000 shares or more in a single trade, or a value of $200,000 or more in notional value. So I see 3 trades so far that met that condition of a big block. So we see here 7:30 a.m., 14,000 shares traded for a price of $6.99. That was a $98,000 trade, okay, transaction. Looks like about half an hour later, 10,124 shares traded hands at $7.71. That's $78,000 worth. An hour later, another 10,000 traded at $787, $78,000 worth. So right now we're right here, 787. So the first 2 trades looks like, that price increased from those big block trades. So that looks like it traded kind of in a bullish manner after those big block trade sweeps. It doesn't look like huge amount of, it's big blocks, but you probably want to see bigger and more frequently than these 3. Okay, but that's just kind of just giving us an idea what's going on. That to me, it looks like most of this trading is happening in the retail, more smaller trades adding up. Let's come back to the screener here. I'm going to, again, let's just look at any price stock and then find the RCON, because that's where we have the question. So RCON, you know what? I'm just going to filter it out here. RCON. So this is the question at the time. It was up 9%. I think, this volume, as we're going along, it's accumulating. So because this was a lower price stock, and we see it's trading 322,000 shares in the pre-market hours right now, before it was lower, but it's not very unusual. This stock trades on average 237,000 shares in the pre-market hours. So right now it's about 1.4 times its average. So a little bit higher than you see on average. Also low market cap stock, 87.6 million, float 19.8 million. So as far as that's concerned, not a ton, not a ton trading in the pre-market hours relative to those numbers. There is some news out there. I'm not going to go and read the news. I'm going to leave that up to you to see if that's justified or not. Let's just analyze it today from price action perspective. But of course, you do want to do your due diligence. Look at that news. See, is there a real catalyst behind this move? Does the stock deserve to be higher? Does it deserve to be higher than this, or it doesn't? So I'm leaving that up to you guys, but let's take a look at RCON. We'll take a look at what's going on in the pre-market hours in the big block trades. We could also take a look at yesterday's price action to see if we could find any big block trades to give us a clue what might be going on. And let's see how the stock recently behaved. Okay, so I'm going to look at 3 different things here. So first, let's just see out of this volume, 322,000, how much of it are significant trades, like big blocks trading hands. Okay, so I'm going to go here, RCON. So one trade so far today at 8 a.m. looks like 10,000 shares traded. That's $38,000 worth of, because it traded at $3.88, $38,000 worth of stock. It's up a little bit from there, but looks like it's pretty close to where the price is. Nothing significant as far as big block trades that I'm seeing. Okay, so most of this is happening what we would call more in like the retail, smaller retail space. Let's take a look at RCON. I'm going to go and just see the recent history in this stock. So let's go to price action. And I'm going to look at what it's been doing. Actually, sorry, let me go here. I'm going to go here by best hour and worst hour. And this will give us also just how it tended to open up at its opening gaps. So this is looking at the last 20 days, and it's giving us a distribution of returns, how it traded, by hour at the open, at the close. So here, I'm going to scroll down here. These are the days. Okay, yesterday, July 8th, going back 20 days. Here's the opening gaps. So you see here yesterday, it opened down 7%, right? We could see some other big ones. I'm just scanning, down 19.7%. That's on June 14th, the day before. It gapped up 24%. So it's not unusual just from the last 20 days to see the stock moving a lot in the pre-market hours, right? And just scanning with my eyes, what I'm seeing is it gapped up on June 11th, 24%. But from the opening price, by the end of the day, it was down 60%. So whatever it was, it opened higher. The most it got from the opening to the high is up 10%. But by the end of the day, if you bought it at the open, you're down 60%. So it reversed course. Here, it opened down 19% the next day. It looks like it didn't go down more. It kind of just closed right there, right? So it didn't follow through to the downside that much. Traded, got from the open to the highs 5%, from the open to the low down is 3%, kind of stayed right there, no follow through. I'm just going to the next highest one. Yesterday, down 7%. What happened the rest of the day? Looks like it reversed. By the end of the day, from the open, it gained 8%. So from the open to the high, up 12%, from the open to the low, down 3%. So just using this, I'm not looking at the news. I'm not looking at its valuation. I'm not looking at, Reddit. I don't know anything else. If I use just this data as my initial guidance, to me, it looks like whatever the gap move is in the morning tends to reverse by the end of the day. All right. Does that make sense to people? Just if I'm using the biggest 3 gap moves in the last 20 days.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. It's also, I'm just taking a look really quickly, the volatility, intraday volatility in the stock. And you can see here from the open to the high, the average move up 4%. From the open to the low, the average move down 7.9%. So just from that perspective, that distribution, it looks like the magnitude of the down moves seem to be much stronger than the magnitude to the up moves intraday. Okay, so we're talking about intraday so far, the magnitude of those down moves were more severe than the magnitude of the up moves. And on average, from the open to the close, it looks intraday that more frequently it goes down than up. So the average in the last 2 days down 4%. 73% of the days in the last 20 days it was down intraday versus 23% higher. Okay, so that's so far looking at it in the last 20 days. Let's see what's going on yesterday in the stock. See if we could find any like big block trades. So no questions so far, Will?
Nope, we're good.
All right, so let's take a look at RCON. I'm going to go to big money stock flow. All right, so these are going to be big block trades, but let's see, we're looking at today's pre-market activity. Was there anything yesterday to clue us in? So big stock block trades here. I'm going to go to July 8th. So this is yesterday's data. I'm putting in RCON. All right, so there's, decent amount yesterday, 27 block trades. Okay, this is all of yesterday. So yesterday's, it'll have anything yesterday during the trading day, during pre-market, and after hours. So here I'm looking at, because these are ordered in time, you could see here that after hours, right? So here, all these after 4 o'clock, there was a significant amount of, I would say, block trades after hours yesterday. To me, it looks like here's where the range, right? If we just start at 4 o'clock, from 345, started trading at $3.45, kind of went up, as high as 387, 390, last one 381. That's where we are currently, $3.81. So something, maybe came out yesterday, some kind of news, go take a look. Maybe it's on Reddit. I don't know where it's coming from. You'd have to do more research, but you could see here that if we just looked at yesterday's block trades, right, and where the stock is now versus yesterday's prices, the majority of them looks to me like right now are in the money. They're making money, so this is making 10%, 9.5%, 7%, a couple here traded a little bit higher. This one 369. That's from yesterday's after hours. If we take a look, we could see here from 9:30, we had pretty, decent amount, I guess, of block. I'd have to go look more in history to see if this would be unusual, but we could see that, from 9:30, from the very morning, there were some block trades trading. A lot of them were trading, most of them, stopped by like 10:30, and a couple more in the afternoon. And you could see the ranges here around the $3, as low as 316, as high as 351. Let me just see. Yes, and this was the opening cross yesterday. That was probably the biggest. Well, you know what? Let me just come back to this. See the biggest trade. Let's see the biggest value trade. $200,000 worth of stock. That's the biggest trade, but that was the opening cross. So the opening cross, it's, it just takes the entire imbalance and crosses it. So it's not just, one party with another. It accumulates all the queued up orders and just crosses it at a price. So really quickly, that's just giving you a pre-market scan in different ways you could look at that price action of a particular stock to kind of clue you in what's going on as far as the trading goes. That's not a complete substitute for looking at the news, what's going on with the stock and doing further research, but that's just looking at a price action analysis. Any questions, Will?
No.
Okay.
Actually, Robert did say Demetrius picked up his speed on the explanations. He went back yesterday and listened to your episode yesterday again, second time. He said it was great.
Oh, thank you. Well, sometimes just try to get in a little bit more
Yeah, no, you're doing great. It's awesome.
Okay. So if there are no questions, I'm going to leave it there. That was the question on that RCON. Kind of wanted to show how you find it if you go to the scanner, because you could create your own criteria, as far as like what you want the price of the stock to be, minimum volume, minimum percentage change, and just kind of start going from there, looking at, and I don't think the stock has options. It's a low price stock. Well, it does have options. So yesterday, not a lot of options trading. So 863 options traded yesterday. On average, it typically trades, 1,900. So nothing significant in the options. But, we saw a couple block trades happening there in RCON. So with that, if there are no questions, well, I guess we'll end it there. And, everybody stay safe out there. Have a good trading day, and hope to see you guys on Monday.
Great job as always, Dima. Thank you. Thanks everyone. D, actually, you have one last piece of you do have a few minutes, but one last piece is you have a show on Interactive Brokers I forgot to mention, and that is Tuesday, correct?
Right. I think, yeah, Tuesday, I think at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to talk about just scanning for a call option. So
and I'll put the link. You have to register on IBKR's website for that. I'll put that link in the chat. Great job, Dina. As always, you have a great weekend, buddy.
Thanks. Will, you too. And see you guys on Monday.
All right. Have a great trading day, chameleons. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Trade in peace.